Welcome to Ancient Mysteries. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In today's episode, we're journeying to the arid deserts of southern Peru, where massive, intricate patterns lay etched into the earth, some so large they can only be truly appreciated from the sky. These are the Nazca Lines, but what purpose did they serve? Who created them, and why? For centuries, these giant geoglyphs have mystified archaeologists, explorers, and curious minds alike. Were they an ancient form of communication, celestial markers, or something else entirely? Today we'll attempt to peel back the layers of this enigmatic mystery and uncover the secrets hidden within the Nazca Desert. Stay tuned. Stretching across nearly 200 square miles of desert in southern Peru, these geoglyphs were first brought to modern attention in the early 20th century. Imagine the surprise of pilots flying over the region in the 1920s and 1930s, looking down to see massive drawings etched into the ground, visible only from the air. What had seemed like an ordinary expanse of desert suddenly revealed shapes too vast and intricate to be accidental. The Nazca Lines comprise more than 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and over 70 depictions of animals and plants. There are spirals and zigzags, triangles and trapezoids, and then the famous figures: a hummingbird, a monkey with a curled tail, a spider, and even a whale. Some geoglyphs are so massive they could encompass a football field, while others are as precise as a delicate etching on a coin. What makes the Nazca Lines so enigmatic is that they were created by a civilization with no access to aerial views or modern surveying tools. The Nazca achieved this feat by removing the reddish-brown stones covering the desert floor, exposing the lighter soil beneath. The arid climate preserved their work, allowing it to endure for centuries. But here's where the mystery deepens. Why go through such extraordinary effort for designs that can only be appreciated from the sky? The lines themselves defy immediate explanation. Some are perfectly straight for miles, seemingly impossible without advanced tools. The animal figures are so precise that their creators must have had detailed plans to execute them at such a large scale. And yet, there's no evidence of blueprints, scaffolding, or any obvious mechanism for mapping these designs from the ground. Adding to the intrigue is the fact that the Nazca Lines remained virtually invisible for centuries. Ground-level erosion and their sheer scale made them impossible to discern from up close. It wasn't until modern flight provided a bird's-eye view that they were rediscovered. Why, then, would the Nazca create something so seemingly inaccessible? Even today, the geoglyphs are shrouded in questions. Some scholars suggest they served religious or ceremonial purposes, perhaps offerings to deities in the sky. Others think they might have been connected to agriculture, marking water sources or seasonal changes. And then there's the more speculative camp, those who wonder if the lines were designed to communicate with extraterrestrial beings or to serve as landing strips for alien spacecraft. No matter the theory, one thing is certain: the Nazca Lines challenge our understanding of ancient ingenuity. They speak to a level of creativity, collaboration, and purpose that goes beyond mere aesthetics. The lines were a statement, an enduring message from a people who saw the world and the universe in ways we can only begin to imagine. Next, we'll examine the evidence, what has been discovered about these lines, how they were created, and what secrets the desert might still hold. To begin unraveling the mystery of the Nazca Lines, we need to explore the evidence and discoveries that have come to light over the past century. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists have all contributed their insights to help us understand these extraordinary geoglyphs. Some of the answers are closer than we think, but many questions remain. The most important discovery, of course, was the identification of the Nazca Lines themselves. But beyond simply locating these lines, researchers have uncovered evidence that helps us understand how and why they were created. The first major breakthrough came from the work of anthropologist Maria Rijke, who dedicated much of her life to studying the lines in the mid-20th century. Rijke's meticulous research and fieldwork suggested that the lines were far more than random markings in the sand. She hypothesized that the figures were an astronomical calendar designed to track celestial events and mark significant moments in the Nazca people's agricultural and ceremonial life. For instance, the straight lines and geometric shapes might align with the movement of the sun, moon, and stars. Some of the larger designs, such as the spider or the monkey, could reflect constellations or celestial events, acting as visual markers for important seasonal changes. This idea is supported by the fact that many of the lines and shapes seem to point toward the horizon at specific sunrise or sunset points, perhaps tracking the annual cycles of the sun and moon, which were crucial for agricultural societies like the Nazca. However, Reichi's theory, while compelling, is not universally accepted. Some scholars argue that the Nazca people did not have the astronomical knowledge required to make these precise celestial alignments. Others suggest that the lines were not astronomical at all, but had a more symbolic or ritualistic purpose. Perhaps they were related to religious ceremonies, like offerings to the gods or spirits associated with water or fertility, key elements of life in the dry, arid environment of the Nazca region. To further investigate, modern technology has also provided valuable tools for studying the lines. Satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar and drones have all been used to map and monitor the geoglyphs with incredible precision. One of the most interesting discoveries to emerge from these technological advances has been the identification of previously unknown lines, suggesting that the Nazca created even more patterns than we initially realized. In fact, scientists believe that the lines may have been a continuous work in progress for generations, evolving over time as the Nazca civilization developed new ways to mark the land. Another intriguing clue comes from the recent study of the materials used to create the lines. Researchers have found that the Nazca people did not simply scrape the earth to create their patterns. They used a specific technique of removing the surface stones and exposing the lighter soil beneath. This method was not only effective in preserving the lines for centuries, but also required an intricate understanding of the land's geography and the desert's natural erosion patterns. Even more fascinating are the findings from local archaeological sites. Objects such as pottery, textiles, and ceremonial items have been discovered near the lines, suggesting that the Nazca people might have held rituals or gatherings near these sacred geoglyphs. The presence of these objects hints that the lines were not merely functional, they had a deeper spiritual and cultural significance. But as much as we've learned, there are still countless questions left unanswered. The true meaning of the lines, the full extent of their purpose, and how they were built remain shrouded in mystery. As we've seen, the Nazca Lines are full of fascination and mystery, with evidence suggesting they could be anything from an astronomical calendar to a ceremonial offering. But despite all the discoveries and theories, there remain many unanswered questions that continue to fuel debate and curiosity. In this segment, we'll delve into some of the lingering mysteries surrounding the lines and where there's still room for exploration. One of the most pressing unanswered questions is the exact purpose of the Nazca Lines. We've discussed some of the most popular theories: astronomical markers, religious symbols, or agricultural tools. But none of these ideas have been definitively proven. Even with all the studies and discoveries, there's still no consensus on whether the lines were meant to be viewed from above or if they had another purpose altogether. Some researchers propose that the lines were actually meant to be seen from the ground, with the designs having significance for people walking or standing nearby. If that's the case, what could these massive, intricate designs mean for those interacting with them on a more personal level? Another mystery that continues to stump researchers is the method of construction. We know the Nazca people didn't have the benefit of modern surveying tools, yet they managed to create figures with astonishing precision. Some lines stretch for miles without deviation, and the large animal figures are perfectly proportioned. How did they plan and execute these enormous designs with such accuracy? While some suggest they may have used simple tools like ropes and stakes to create straight lines or help them measure distances, no clear evidence has surfaced to show how they achieved such vast and intricate works of art without aerial assistance. Could they have had an advanced system of mapping or measurement that we've yet to fully comprehend? Then there's the question of who precisely was responsible for the creation of these lines. While we know the Nazca culture inhabited the region from around 200 BCE to 600 CE, the relationship between the Nazca and other ancient cultures remains unclear. Did they work alone, or were they influenced by other ancient civilizations? Some scholars point to the ancient Paracas people, who lived in the same region earlier, suggesting that the Nazca might have inherited certain ideas or techniques. If so, what happened to this knowledge after the Nazca civilization declined? Or could other, unknown groups have played a role in creating the lines? In addition, modern-day exploration and technology continue to reveal new aspects of the Nazca Lines, but not all the findings have been conclusive. Satellite imaging has uncovered previously unseen geoglyphs, and ground-penetrating radar has revealed strange features hidden beneath the desert floor. Yet the more we discover, the more questions arise. What else might lie beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? Could there be additional layers of meaning we haven't yet unlocked? The Nazca Lines may still be revealing their secrets in ways we don't yet understand. Perhaps one of the most intriguing, lingering questions involves the role of water in the Nazca Lines. While most of the region is extremely arid, some researchers have suggested that the lines could be linked to water sources or irrigation systems. Could the lines have served as a symbolic link between the land and water, which was so vital to the Nazca people's survival? Or perhaps the lines themselves were created in the hope of attracting rain, as many ancient cultures associated their sacred sites with fertility and water deities. The arid desert might seem like an unlikely setting for such an intricate system, but could the water-related significance of the lines hold a key to understanding their purpose? The mystery of the Nazca Lines remains one of archaeology's most captivating puzzles. Though we've made incredible strides in understanding them, there's still so much we don't know. The answers may lie hidden beneath the sands of time, waiting for the right technology, research, or insight to reveal them. As we venture further into the mystery of the Nazca Lines, we can't help but be drawn to the unanswered questions that still linger, challenging our understanding of these vast geoglyphs. Despite decades of research, there are significant aspects of the lines that remain shrouded in uncertainty. Let's explore some of these lingering mysteries, where even the best theories haven't been able to provide a complete explanation. First, one of the most persistent mysteries is the question of how the Nazca people created these enormous figures with such precision, without the modern technology we rely on today. We've seen evidence of their ingenuity in the designs, which stretch across miles of desert land and include geometrical patterns, animals, and human-like figures. But how were they able to map out and create these large-scale images without aerial view technology? Some researchers suggest that the lines could have been mapped by using simple tools, such as measuring rods and visual guides on the ground, but the accuracy with which the lines were drawn, especially over such large areas, still baffles experts. Next, there's the question of scale. Some of the Nazca Lines are so immense that they can only truly be appreciated from the sky. How did the creators know to construct something on such a grand scale if they couldn't see it all from above? This raises the theory that the lines might not have been intended to be seen by the Nazca themselves, but rather by deities or otherworldly beings. Were the lines built to communicate with the gods? Was it an offering to a higher power, or perhaps an attempt to attract divine favor? The relationship between the lines and the people's spiritual beliefs is still debated, and with no written records left behind, these questions remain open-ended. And speaking of the lines' purpose, another mystery that remains unresolved is the relationship between the Nazca Lines and the ancient culture's environment. Could the lines have been used to track the movements of celestial bodies, marking key events like solstices or eclipses, much like the alignment of Stonehenge in England? There are some theories that the lines may have served an astronomical or calendrical purpose, but others propose that they had a more spiritual or ritualistic function. It's still unclear whether the lines were primarily about communication with the heavens, rituals of fertility, or something else entirely. Then there's the issue of the maintenance and preservation of these lines. Despite their age, the lines have remained largely intact, which is a mystery in itself. The desert climate in which the Nazca Lines were carved is known for its harsh conditions, but it's unclear how the lines have been preserved for centuries, especially considering the erosion caused by occasional rainstorms and shifting winds. Some experts suggest that the unique geology of the region may have played a role, but this is still an area for further exploration. Finally, we come to one of the most intriguing aspects of the Nazca Lines, their inexplicable nature. With over 300 geoglyphs scattered across the landscape, each one seems to tell a story, whether of animals, human figures, or geometric patterns. The fact that these designs, so detailed and purposeful, have stood the test of time continues to pose the question: what was their true significance? Why did the Nazca invest so much effort into creating these monumental works of art? And why, after all these years, do we still not fully understand their meaning? As research continues and new technology opens up new possibilities for exploration, perhaps one day we'll have the answers to these lingering questions. But for now, the mystery remains unsolved. And the Nazca Lines continue to stand as one of the most enduring enigmas of our ancient past. So as we look to the next chapter of this ancient mystery, let's remember that the more we learn, the more we discover how much we still don't know. The lines of Nazca, like many ancient wonders, continue to draw us in, leaving us searching for answers in the sands of time. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. We've journeyed to the deserts of Peru, marveling at the vast, mysterious geoglyphs etched into the earth, some as large as a football field, others stretching for miles. We've discussed the evidence from the work of Maria Reicher to modern satellite imagery, revealing these massive designs as more than mere curiosities. Whether they were astronomical markers, spiritual offerings, or something else entirely, we've learned that the Nazca Lines are far from random. They're purposeful, intricately planned, and steeped in mystery. Yet, despite all the evidence and theories, the true purpose of the lines remains elusive. Were they meant to be viewed from the sky, or were they grounded in rituals tied to the land? How did the Nazca people achieve such precision with their tools and techniques, and what did the lines mean to the civilization that created them? These questions remain, and as technology advances, new discoveries will likely continue to shed light on this ancient enigma. The Nazca Lines stand as a testament to the creativity and ingenuity of a civilization that left no written records to explain their purpose. And while the lines may never fully reveal all their secrets, they continue to spark our curiosity, challenging us to think beyond what we know and to see the world through the eyes of the people who built them. In a way, that sense of wonder is one of the greatest gifts the Nazca Lines offer us, a glimpse into a world that once was, and a reminder that some mysteries, no matter how old, are still waiting to be solved. As we wrap up today's episode, let's look ahead to our next journey into the unknown. For centuries, ancient myths have told stories of giants, massive beings that once roamed the earth, shaping civilizations and leaving behind enormous footprints in the sands of time. Are these just myths, or could there be some truth hidden in the stories? In our next episode, we'll dive into the mystery of these ancient giants, exploring myths, legends, and even skeletal remains that some claim are proof that giants once walked among us. So until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, because the past is never as distant as it seems. It's right there, waiting to speak. Join us on the next leg of the journey as we search for the truth behind the legends of giants. Are they just stories or something more? You won't want to miss it. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ben Carter, and this has been another episode of Ancient Mysteries. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favourite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Share this episode with your fellow mystery enthusiasts, and be sure to connect with us on social media for behind-the-scenes content and exclusive updates. Join us next time for another exciting journey into the world of ancient mysteries. Until then, stay curious.